Greetings and salutations. You know who it is. It's me, the King David B, and this is I Think I Love Sports. I'm in here adjusting, trying to get everything in order, making sure everything's on point. I was trying to start a little earlier in my day, but I guess it didn't work out. Went from morning to afternoon to nighttime. Evening completely passes by, but I do have my handy dandy coffee here, so that's what counts. And I got my nice light up turtle lamp that my wife got me, so that's okay with me. Well, let's start. March Madness just took place. Well, Elite Eight. March Madness is still taking place, but the Elite Eight was just happened on Saturday. There's a lot that took place this past weekend. We're talking about men's college basketball tonight. We'll probably talk about some other things like some boxing or something like that. If we get to that, we'll see what we got. But definitely we're going to talk about men's college basketball because what we got right now is what happens after any major sporting event. You have a lot of people talking about who the greatest of all time is. Well, I think we do that a little bit too much. We do a lot of jumping the gun with the greatest of all time talk. Nobody can do anything without saying, you think they're going to be the greatest of all time already? You think they're the next greatest of all time? You think if they win one more time, they'll be the greatest of all time? I mean, allow somebody to have a career before you decide to put the greatest of all time on them. And here's the thing. Greatest of all time, it's not one of the great of all, a great player. It's the greatest. It's greatest of all time. The term limits you to one person. You can't have a bunch of greatests of all time. There's only one greatest. Just like there's only one best at a time. No, if you're the best, there's only one best. Like this person was the best. You can't say this person was the best today, but tomorrow this person was the best. And in 2 and 10 years from now, well, we have several bests. No, there's only one. There's only one best. There's only one greatest. What's his name? Dan Hurley, University of Connecticut coach. UConn won. UConn beat Duke. If you didn't know that, spoiler alert. UConn beat Duke on Saturday, or Sunday. Beat Duke on Sunday. Great game. Great matchup. A lot of fun to watch. I tell you what, at the end of the game, one of the main things that people were complaining about with Duke was, hey, well, how does why did they hold on to the ball? Why didn't they just hold on to the ball? Well, let me tell you something about a press. It's called a press. You know what happens when you press somebody? You know what the idea or the desire that when you put a press on a team, you're trying to make them move rapidly. So you're putting pressure on them to make them do things outside of the normal that they would do. So while it probably would be a good idea for Duke to have held onto the ball, the press or the pressure made them kind of, get in their head to rush themselves. That's what a press does when it's done right. And so it was done right. And so the pressure was there, and rather than just hold onto the ball or take a foul, which could have happened, we can't talk about what they should have done, much as because it's over. We can coulda, shoulda, woulda all day long, but the coulda, shoulda, wouldas belong to the losers. Most of the time. Most of the time, it's the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. It's the losers that say that. Yeah, I've been a loser too. So when we look back at the outcome of things, I don't care if it's a game, I don't care if it's life. We look back at the outcome, it's like, yeah, man, I could have did this, I should have did that. Yeah. Hindsight is always 20/20, but that's what in the moment, the reason why they didn't hold on to the ball is because that press worked to perfection. That's what the press is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you move rapidly. Now, is Dan Hurley On the ESPN shows, Get Up says they posted something on TikTok saying, "Hey, is this is he the next GOAT, or is he? Yeah, is he the next GOAT? Like, you can't be the next GOAT. There's only one, and this is what I mean by abusing a term. GOAT is this greatest of all time term needs to go back to the trash. Just send it to the trash. I don't know if it was there before, but there's no such thing. There's no such thing as the greatest of all time. Not if there's going to be another greatest of all time. You can't have a greatest of all time if one day later there's going to be another greatest of all time. You can say right now, to me, this person is the best player to ever play this game. Okay. You can say that. You can. But it wouldn't be a factual thing that you can even prove because it's a subjective statement. Greatest of all time means that this person is the best. Nobody has come close and nobody ever will. And you can't argue you can't argue greatest or best by reading words and numbers. You can't read the greatest. Whoa, unless you're talking about this person is the greatest writer of all time. This person is the greatest number writer of all time. This person has very good penmanship. I don't know if this is the greatest penmanship I've ever seen. Is that what we're talking about? This person knows how to keep statistic books very well. No, we're not talking about that? No, I didn't think so. We're not talking about that because it's silly. Now we have to stop trying to use that term. I know it's kind of a term that makes people, oh, what, and try to get people in a tizzy, but it's not worth it. UConn beat Duke. What was the score? I think it was 70. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared tonight. Not with scores. UConn beat Duke. I believe it was 70. Wait. It was don't tell me. 73-72. UConn beat Duke 73-72. What was it? Mullins. I don't think he's related to Chris. Mullins took a shot. Made a shot. Made it good. I'll tell you what about UConn. UConn has been doing their thing. UConn pretty much since the inception of the Big East has been doing their thing. Definitely throughout the 90s and in the early 2000s, UConn has a number of championships. They are a tournament team, to say the least. That's the best way you can put it. They are a tournament team. And to look at Hubert Davis, or to look at what's the guy's name? Fisher? John Shire with Duke. To look at these guys and say, well, they're not Roy Williams, who came from Kansas after that. I mean, he was an assistant coach with Dean Smith, before he went to Kansas. But Roy Williams had a tenured career in Kansas. We can't. That's in the record books. He came from Kansas as a winner to. I think. Did he win any championships in Kansas? I don't even know if he won any championships in Kansas. I'd have to look that up, because I know Kansas won a championship with Danny Manning in 1988. I believe that was 1988. I don't know if Roy Williams was the coach though. Dean Smith is a tenured was a tenured coach at North Carolina. Coach K. I always jack up his last name. I try to say it, but it's like Krzyzewski. Mike Krzyzewski, tenured coach at Duke. And these guys come from some elite coaching tree. We're talking about Adolph Rupp type coaching trees. We're talking about Bobby Knight. We're talking about some of the godfathers of basketball where these guys come from. And John Shire is not there. Okay? Hubert Davis not there. The idea that these guys are as tenured as a Dan Hurley even. who comes from a great basketball family, mind you. Don't get it twisted. Hurley comes from a great family of basketball alumni and enthusiasts and experts. Great coaching tree that he comes from. Now think about it like this, though. I want you to think about it like this with the Duke coach and the Hubert Davis and think like, well, they've only been there for a couple years. Really, I mean, 5 years, 7 years, what? They haven't been there long enough and they've been winning. They've been winning, and they're getting their same type of players. I think at these wonderful universities. They're not tournament coaches, then they have to learn something, and maybe being fired will help them. But they're not tournament coaches. Dan Hurley is a tournament coach, and that makes a difference. Dan Hurley is a tournament coach. He knows how to win the tournament, not just regular season games. He can win the tournament. He prepares his team for the tournament. When tournament comes around, even if they didn't have that good of a regular season, they show up at the tournament. 2023, 2024, they win championships, and they're not the best team in the country, not by a consensus, not by the statistics, because that's what you guys like to use. Most of us who love sports understand that statistics are footnotes, and I'm going to hammer that home probably almost every time I'm on here. Is that statistics are footnotes? They are additional information. That's all they are. At some point in time, we didn't even have statistics to try to go. No, you just had to be there. You had to be in the atmosphere. You had to see what it was like. You couldn't just say, hey, man, yeah, this person's great because look at a number. Oh, how many times did they do this? How many of this do they have? How many that? That doesn't tell you a great player. That just tells you numbers. You actually got to be in. You got to see what that person did in the atmosphere that they created. That's what makes a great player a great player. That's what makes someone who's the greatest. Well, Muhammad Ali is considered the greatest boxer of all time. Do you know why that is? It's not because of his statistics. It's because the energy and the air around him, the atmosphere that he creates, the polarizing, what he actually did. He had to beat people. He had to defeat people to be the greatest. He didn't. Tell me Muhammad Ali's punch stats. Nope, don't look it up. Tell me his punch stats. How many punches? How many jabs did Muhammad Ali land? Does it matter? How many right hooks did he land? How many left hooks? How many uppercuts? None of that stuff matters. You know what matters? He won. That's what matters. These are athletic events. That's what matters. He won. That's the greatest of all time. He won. The greatest of all time are winners. Now, well, how do you figure out there's no way of really saying that because your greatest is not my greatest. And my greatest is not your greatest. One, I don't even believe there's a such thing as the greatest anyway. Not a basketball player. This isn't tennis. We're not talking about bowling. This is a team sport. Huh? We're not talking about golf. We're talking about a team sport. If you want to talk about bowling, tennis, golf, what else? Give me a single sport where you are out there by yourself. You cannot come to me with telling me that one person is the greatest of all time and they're playing on a 5-man team, 11-man team. Yeah, they're the great. They're one of. They can be one of the best players ever. Excuse me. They can be one of the best players, but they can't be the greatest player. There's no such thing as the great, because none of these guys played against each other. None of them can play against each other. To even know that, to be the greatest, you have to beat the greatest. You have to beat the best to be the greatest. You can't just play. That's a problem. And so we're constantly doing this. But big ups to UConn. We're gonna come back to that. Big ups to UConn for dismantling. No, it was a good game. You can say, well, that was a lucky shot. That was a lucky shot. And at the end of the game, they were like, hey, I heard people talking about, hey, why didn't he, the people ran off the bench. Well, there was a timeout call. The whistle, you heard the whistle at the end of when the shot was made, whoosh, and then somebody said timeout. Somebody and it was like, the whistle blew, like right after. Or else if the whistle didn't blow, the time probably would have went out, or they would have, hey, the people, Duke pretty much started walking to the bench, and so nobody ran out on the court unprovoked. The whistle blew. It was a timeout call, so it's okay. We're always trying to find ways that somebody cheated. Oh, that should have been a technical foul for that. Oh my goodness, you must be a Duke fan. Your feelings must be hurt. I'm not either. I'm not a Duke fan. I'm not necessarily a UConn fan at this. I was at one point in time. I don't really. I know you see my stuff in the background, don't you? Like, well, wait, you have. Because I was gonna say I don't really have favorite teams. I'm gonna choose the Vikings this year. The Golden Gophers are one of my favorite teams. You see me with my Georgia shirt on. If you watched this channel before, if you've seen me before, you know that I love the University of Georgia. Love Texas University. I'm a KU fan, Kansas. I'm a UK fan, University of Kentucky. I love the Memphis. Yeah, Memphis, originally Memphis State. My boy Penny Hardaway is a coach. Great player. One of my favorite players of all time. Probably to me one of the best players in the history of basketball. Definitely in my starting five of all time, Penny Hardaway. And that's what it is. So, like I said, we got our favorites, right? We got the people that we like. We got the teams that we like, and then having those teams or people that you like, you shouldn't be swayed when things don't work out in the team's favor. Like you never should say somebody cheated. That's a very harsh statement. If the refs cheated, that's one thing. If the refs did some crap, that's one thing. We can talk about the refs all day long, but don't say the other team cheated to win unless it's blatantly clear. We'll get into that at some point in time, but just not today, because I got a lot to say about people accusing people of cheating. That's a whole different story. But UConn, I think UConn, I would say that they're a different breed, and it comes from their system that they have. It definitely comes from the system that they're in. There's no question about it. It's the system. The system works. The system is fantastic. That's what you have to understand. The system is good. The system works. You know what's interesting? I think that I'm dilly-dallying on this thing, and I don't even think the microphone is even plugged in, man. You know what? What in the world is going on here? I have no idea. But I'll tell you this. UConn. Now UConn goes against Illinois. What do we think about Illinois? Illinois has never won a championship. Illinois is the only team in the final four that hasn't won a championship. As much as I like UConn, I actually like UConn. I like UConn. I'm gonna probably be rooting for Illinois a little bit because I root for the underdog. I like the underdog. If Iowa was in it, I would root for Iowa. If they would have beat Illinois, I would be rooting for Iowa. Not that I really want UConn to win. I'm not rooting against UConn. But I am going to root for Illinois because I think it's always good when people win. When people who haven't won win. That's a great thing to see. Is to get that first championship, or to get that championship no one ever thought you could do or get. Illinois is definitely the Cinderella of the Final Four. They're not supposed to be there at all. You say, well, no, they were ranked number 3. Yeah, they're not supposed to be. They were not supposed to come out of that bracket. You say what you want to say. They were not supposed to come out of that bracket. Houston was. That's another thing I talk about is Ralph Sampson. Wait, not Sampson. Kelvin. Ralph Sampson. That's a different basketball player. Kelvin Sampson. That's his name. That's his name. Hey, y'all, don't get mad at me. I think he's one of the greatest coaches to never win. He just can't do it. Like, it's so difficult for him to win. And he's been there with a few different teams. Like, he gets to the spot and he never wins. He never wins. He never wins at all. Let me say it like that. He never wins at all. He has a very good winning percentage as a coach. He never wins at all. Kelvin Sampson never wins the championship. He can get you to there, but something happens when he gets to gets closer and closer to winning. I don't know what it is. It's very interesting, don't you think? Arizona won. Arizona plays. Arizona did win. Did they? Who's? Give me my paper. I'm sorry. Who's in this thing? Yeah, it's Arizona and Michigan. Arizona plays Michigan. UConn, I believe, plays Illinois. So you got the two number ones playing against each other, and then you got the number 2, number 3 playing against each other. So nobody really gave UConn a shot either. I mean, some people did, but not many people gave UConn a shot. Nobody gave Illinois a shot. Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Houston, those were really the 4 people. Those are the 4 teams that people were really shooting for. Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Houston. Those were the 4 teams that people were expecting. Maybe Purdue was another one, and maybe Florida. Maybe not. Well, this is why we love March Madness. And one thing I seen earlier today was Jay Billis? I think it was Jay Billis. Jay Billis was talking about, like, I have never seen a Final Four like this. What? And Jay Billis, I was like, is he serious? Billis, you've been here forever. You're like 85 years old. You're telling me that you've never seen let me see where is he at? I gotta find it. Here he goes.
Anything like the ending of the Duke in Washington, D.C. It was incredible. And we can talk and all we want to and dissect this play or that play, what a player should have done or what should have happened. 19-point lead, come back, all this stuff. One thing that all I can think about right now, say one thing. All I can think about right now
Tell me what you think.
What an extraordinary competitive event.
Yeah. Jay Billis has been around. Look, listen to it again. Go back.
I've been around basketball a long time. And I can't tell you that I've seen anything like the ending of the Duke UConn game.
What? He said, I've been around basketball. Jay Billis has been around a long. He has. He's like 95 years old. And he's claiming that there's been nothing like this before. Okay. What are we talking about? This is what I mean by people just be taking it too far. It was a good game. It was a very good game. But to say that you haven't seen anything like it, you've never seen a comeback before? In all your years of watching basketball, you've never seen a comeback like this before? Really? You never seen unlikely winning? Someone unlikely to win? What are we talking about? What? We watched Duke beat UNLV with Larry Johnson. What are we talking about? We watched Duke beat UNLV. They weren't supposed to beat UNLV. I can tell you that. we've watched a lot of we there was a there just in my lifetime. Like I said, Jay Billis is a lot older than me. In my lifetime, we've seen something like this, or even better. So it's interesting that he's like, this is the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe it. It's no. Stop, Jay, stop. You are a professional analyst, sir. Stop it. You have seen it before. You have seen it before. Yeah. And that's the thing. Is that when people try to take it a little too far, I thought that was funny. I was like, I gotta play that. That's great. And now people are trying to drag on the Duke coach, John, what's his name? John Shire. People are trying to rag on him. Oh, well, he's losing. He's losing these. He's losing all these close games, or he's not close games, but he's up by a lot, and then they come back and he loses. So he's not really that good of a coach. He has to learn, man. How many? Okay, let me see. Let me find out. Let me find out some information real quick. Okay, is that okay with y'all? Can I look up John Shire real quick while y'all? Because you guys like to just take somebody and be like, oh man, he's just not that good. John Shire is 38 years old, right? Is that right? Is he 38 years old? Goodness gracious. Now he's been a coach since 2022. What year is it right now? Somebody tell me. What year is it right now? It is 2026, correct? 2026. He's been a basketball coach, the head coach of Duke since 2022. That is 4 years. Count them. 4. He became the head coach, when he was 32 years old. Can he learn or what? It's been 4 years. Wait, I just want to know, can he learn? Is it okay if he learns? That's all I want to know. Is it okay if that man learns how to become a winner? Why are we holding him to this astronomical standard because it's the Duke Blue Devils? That's not Coach K. Just like Hubert Davis is not Dean Smith or Roy Williams. It was completely unnecessary to fire them because they're winning, but they haven't learned how to be a tournament level coach. They haven't recognized how to do that. Kelvin Sampson's been doing this for many years. Kelvin Sampson is a pretty good tournament coach, but he doesn't win the tournament. He competes in the tournament, but winning the tournament has been very difficult for Kelvin Sampson since he's never done it in all the years that he's had. He's in the doggone Hall of Fame, isn't he? Didn't he retire, go in the Hall of Fame, and then come back and start coaching again? Wasn't he like canceled as a basketball coach at one point in time? Kelvin Sampson, think about it. I want you to think about it for a second. Kelvin Sampson is 70 years old. 70 years old. He's been coaching. He's been coaching the Houston Cougars men's basketball team, University of Houston basketball team since 2014. What year is it? He's had many years to do this. Do you want to know his record for coaching? He's almost has an 80% winning percentage. 80 almost 80%. 78% winning percentage. It's madness, isn't it? But here's the thing: with all that good winning, he doesn't win the tournament. That's his problem. He's never won the tournament. He has an issue winning the tournament. That's the problem. We all wonder why. You want to know his career winning percentage? That 300 wins is with Houston. His career winning percentage is 70% too. So it's 10% less. But he is Washington State, Oklahoma, was where I learned him because I know that's where he was in the 90s. He was in Indiana for a second, and then he went to Houston. The man wins wherever he goes. He creates a good program. There's no question about it. But I'll tell you what he doesn't do. He doesn't win championships. And Hubert Davis never won a championship either. And neither has John Shire. And so if you think that you're going to put John Shire or Hubert Davis at Duke and what's the other place? At Duke and North Carolina, and you think that, oh, okay, yeah, Hubert Davis is here at Duke. I mean, at North Carolina, he's supposed to be winning because he's at North because he's the coach of North Carolina. What the heck is wrong with you guys? Because he's the coach of North Carolina, he's supposed to just win because he's at North Carolina. That's it. He's not supposed to actually learn how to win. That's how you do that. You have to learn first. You have to become that. You don't get there and say, well, it's North Carolina, so you just got to become a winner. No, he has to actually become the winner. And he becomes that from learning. How long was he at North Carolina? 5 years? Well, how long does it take? Sometimes more than 5 years. That's the truth. Sometimes it takes more than 5 years. But great matchup this past weekend. Fantastic matchup. We got to think about what we're doing here when it comes to critiquing. You know, everybody wants to be a part of the scene. Everybody wants to have their words mean something. The fans want to have their words mean something. The players, the coaches, you know, their words are going to mean something because they're there. But all the fans, all the experts, all the analysts, everybody wants to have their words mean something. And we put words out there and put our opinions in the ears of others and say this man should be fired. For what? For having a winning record? But he has to learn how to win in the tournament. This is not easy. It's not easy to win in a tournament in any level, much less one of the biggest tournaments in the history of basketball. This is not easy. 5 years as a coach, 125 and 54, basically a 70% winning percentage at North Carolina, and you're going to tell me that he's not a good enough coach to stay there? You're gonna tell me John Shire? I hear people talking about they should fire him because he's been at Duke and he should be winning by now. What? You guys need to wake up and smell what you shovel. Real talk. Are we watching the same sport here? How can everybody win? You know, Herman Edwards said, you play to win the game. That's what it is. Like, duh. 9-2-0, come on. You play to win the game. Do you think these coaches aren't playing to win the game? These are winning coaches. And we're talking about, we gotta fire those guys. For what? Because they want to have their voice mean something. They want to have their feelings mean something. This is not Coach K. How long was Coach K? Okay. Coach K, we're going to look this up. We got to find it out. I want to find out. Coach K, how many years did he coach before he won a championship? Can somebody answer that? How many years did Coach K coach before he won a championship? Go ahead, answer that question. Hey. Here we go. Pulling it up. He's done. He's doggone. He's won a lot. He won five championships. His first was in 1991. When did he become the coach? What year did Coach K become the coach of Duke? Anybody know? We're reading it right now. Coach K became the coach of Duke. They don't want to tell me that, do they? Was it 86? 86? Because he coached Army before he coached Duke. Let's see. Oops. See, threw me off of my swag. Started coaching Duke. Coach K started coaching Duke in 1980. Hello? Is this on? Coach K started coaching Duke in 1980. I don't know if y'all heard me. Coach K started coaching Duke in 1980. 81, he didn't win. 82, he didn't win. 83, he didn't win. 84, he didn't win. 85, he didn't win. 86, he didn't. Do you hear me? Well, 86, he finally got to the Final Four. In 88, he got to the Final Four. In 89, he got to the Final Four. In 90, he got to the Final Four. But he didn't become a champion until 91. Now, I want you to understand something. He started coaching Duke in 1918. He didn't get to his first Final Four until 1986. And he didn't get his first championship until 1991. Now, can we count? Yeah, count now. I want you to count down. How many years between 1980 and 1991? Go ahead, I'm listening. Between 1980 and 1991, you know how many years that is? Yeah, we're talking about firing people after 4 years, firing people after 5 years, with winning records, getting their team to the tournament with good position. Are they being out-coached at times? Yeah, but they're being out-coached by more savvy, more experienced coaches. And this is what happens at this level. And like I said, for the people who are sitting with like us, for us people who are sitting with microphones and touting to be some type of expert, some type of analyst, some type of journalist, someone who sees themselves as a aficionado or someone who sees themselves as a knowledgeable person, and as it comes to athletics, especially as it comes to basketball. If we're talking about basketball, we should think twice before we say certain stuff. Because we have a responsibility with this thing. We have a responsibility. This right here. We have a responsibility. What's our responsibility? You know what it is? We have a responsibility with this thing. To speak like we got some sense. Not to just find ways to talk down upon people. You know, because, and I'm saying it like this: if all you can do is find a negative to talk about, you're probably not good at what you do. You're not. You're not good at what you do. If all you can do is find the negative side to talk about, you're not good at what you do. You're not good at sports. No, you're not. And if you think that you can use hypotheticals to create a standard, you don't know what you're doing. You're not good at sports. You have no idea. You're not an expert when it comes to sports. You can't be because you're using too many ifs and coulda, shoulda, woulda. Sports is not your thing. you too many coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You're not. You can't be a sports guy or gal. Sports guy or gal. Too many coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Too many he's cheating. Too many they're cheating. No. You shouldn't do sports. It's not for you. You gotta go find something else. I'm having fun. But good games. Like I said, we're gonna be front and center watching the Final Four. I think there's great matchups. Everybody that's there is supposed to be there. Why? Because they won. So that's why they're supposed to be there. They won. They beat whoever they needed to beat to be there. And that's what counts. And you know what? Doggone it. I give Michigan their props. I give Arizona their props. I give Illinois their props. I give UConn their props. Everybody get their props. Duke did everybody in the tournament, great job. Everybody that got to the Elite Eight, great job. I don't believe any coaches should be fired based on one game. I definitely don't believe anybody should be fired based off of maybe 4 years with a winning record, 5 years with a winning record. That's called idiocy. Because once that young man or young woman, once they learn how to win, and they go to another program, and then they start winning, then the if and coulda, shoulda, woulda is going to come back. And then everybody who jumped off the bandwagon is going to try to jump back on the bandwagon. And I don't like that either. Maybe because I ain't never jumped on the bandwagon. In fact, when I see people jumping on the bandwagon, sometimes I jump off. Like there's too many people on this wagon. It's about to crash. But that's what makes us all love sports, right? That's why this channel is here. Because we got to bring back the idea of the actual love of the game. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of ways. We're missing the love of the game. We're missing the passion and the drama. We really are. We're missing that. We're missing that in our youth program. We're missing that in our high schools. We're missing that in our college. We're definitely missing that in the professional. We're missing the passion that it takes to play the game. Because everybody is talking about money. And it's always all that now. It's what it's always. It's just always about that at this point. I hear people bringing it up too much. Way too much. I wish we didn't have to hear so much. Women's basketball is it's really just getting started. It is. My favorite women's basketball player is Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper. That's my favorite women's basketball player. Oh, is she the greatest of all time? Can she beat Caitlin Clark? I don't know. I don't know if she could do it, but I think that it'd be pretty close. Cynthia Cooper. Do you know who that is? And that's the thing. Is like I wouldn't put down anybody like that. Like Caitlin Clark is whack and she garbage. No, I don't. She does her thing. She does whatever she does. I've never really watched her other than like a game or two. So, from what I can tell is that she's okay. She doesn't remind me of Cynthia Cooper in any way. She doesn't. Cynthia Cooper to me was dazzling. There was things that I don't see anything dazzling. She can shoot. Okay, cool. I don't see the. She's not one of my favorite players. That's all. I don't see it. I'm not wowed by Caitlin Clark. That's all. So she's not one of my favorite players. I'm not wowed by Angel Reese. She's not one of my favorite players. Asia Wilson. Very, very good player. She's still not my favorite player. Yeah, Agent Wilson just reminded me of Shamika Holdsclaw. Really? I mean, and so Shamika was one of my favorite players. When I say David, I stopped watching women's basketball because it was more mundane and it hasn't picked back up. When women's basketball first started, to me it was more exciting, and I guess that's when Cynthia Cooper and Tina Thompson and Cheryl Swoops and the Houston Comets were winning. So I'm just saying it was exciting. Teaspoon over in New York, Lisa Leslie over in L.A. It was fun to watch, and it just seemed like it lost some of that luster. And it seems to be, yes, they should be getting paid for what they're worth, and they shouldn't stand for anything else, but to be compensated for what they're worth. But when you put compensation over desire, over passion, that's where I start to dial back. Because then, like I said, I'm not seeing it translate onto the court. And it's the same thing with the NBA. I'm not seeing all the money that these guys are getting, talking about all the talk that I hear. I'm not seeing things translate on the court. Anthony Edwards is my favorite player right now. Anthony Edwards is my favorite player in the NBA. He's fun to watch. I like Anthony Edwards' demeanor. That's the truth. I like his demeanor. I buy into the doggone demeanor of Anthony Edwards. And if in Randall, what's his first name? Used to play for the Knicks, plays for the Timberwolves. I like him as a player, and when he was in the Knicks, and I was like, well, we got Randall up there in Minnesota. What? We got Randall over here. And so, if Anthony Edwards' attitude can rub off on everybody on that team, the Minnesota Timberwolves has a championship team. See, that's what made the Bulls special. That's why we can go back to that one. That's what made the Knicks special in the '90s. That's what made the Utah Jazz special. Was John Stockton and Malone. Every team that had has that makeup. Even the Golden State with the Splash Brothers. Even Golden State with the Splash Brothers, with Clay and Steph, and Andre Iguodala. We try to negate AI in there. Andre Iguodala was extremely integral to that championship run that they had, and some would say dynasty. Andre Iguodala was extremely integral to that. So I get, but with those teams there, you see a level of enjoyment, and like I said, it was fun to watch. That's what made it fun to watch. It didn't look like they were at work. They looked like they were having a good time. So it made it fun. So when people buy into that, they want to see the enjoyment, the passion, the enjoyment. That they want to see that it matters. Nobody wants to look at somebody look like they're at work. There's no smile on the face. At least not the whole team. Everybody. Yeah, we shot that man. We won. Yeah. Celebrate. Nobody. That's not fun to watch. But that's what we're seeing. That's really what we're seeing in professional ranks now. We're seeing that. We're seeing it in a lot of places. And that's why people are going to more gravitate to the places where we can watch people enjoy what they do. And that's what we got to bring back. That's why we're doing this here. Trying to bring back the enjoyment for the love of the game. You're in for the money and the love. And that's what matters. We love it. At least we think we do. Appreciate you coming out with me. Appreciate you hanging. Actually, appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you tuning in. We're gonna talk about some more stuff. We're gonna get into the UFL. We're gonna do that tomorrow. I'm about to seal it up here, and we're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna talk about the UFL kicking off their third season. And I think this is one of the most significant seasons. I think the UFL can be a great addition to professional football in America. That's for sure. UFL I think is a very solid league. I think it become. We're gonna get into it tomorrow, because I'm really looking forward to the UFL. And people who don't watch it, I think you start watching it. And people who the players who want to get in the NFL but can't, maybe you didn't qualify, maybe they're not trying to get you. The UFL is a fantastic alternative, and you know what the UFL can be? It can be. Here's the thing with the NFL: they've always absorbed other leagues pretty much, or bankrupt other leagues. They didn't really bankrupt USFL; that was somebody else. But if the USFL had stayed in their place, they wouldn't have been bankrupt. They would have just chilled and stayed. Okay. But the UFL, we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that because I like I said, I love football. We love sports over here. UFL, we're gonna talk about how good that league is going to be. Anytime they want to give me set me up with a season pass and a way to commentate and analyze and get into to talk to those guys. Hey, sign me up, man. Who's the president of that? You got The Rock. Hey, Dwayne, get me up. What else we gonna get into tomorrow? We're gonna get some other stuff. We're gonna talk about NFL too. We're gonna talk about that. You see my stuff back here. I represent Minnesota, born and raised, moved to Atlanta though. So came back to Minnesota. I love to have two places. One, love to have a home in Atlanta, a home in Minnesota. Love Atlanta. Great place. That's my Georgia Bulldog. That's my, can't mess with them. Love Atlanta. Can't say it enough. Love Atlanta. That's my home. That's my second home. It became my second home. So I'm gonna stay there. As I say, I got one place or the other. Is Atlanta? Well, there's another place I go to too. That's North Carolina. Can't nobody mess with North Carolina either. Ain't nobody mess with the Carolinas. I love that area too. So, but we just having fun. Like I said, we're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna talk stuff. We're gonna talk fun, poke fun at some people. We're gonna go through some of my videos, some more of my videos. There was one video. Wait, before I go, there was a video I was gonna listen to. Let me see this. Okay, no, we're gonna get into that tomorrow. We're gonna get into that tomorrow. Jalen Rose said some stuff that Jalen Rose said some stuff, and we're gonna get into that tomorrow. We're gonna get to more of my videos that I have saved with some sound bites. We're gonna sound bite them. We're gonna listen to the sound bites, and we're gonna talk about what they're saying. And we're gonna get in it. We're gonna start this thing right. Okay, so you know me. I'm having a good time now. Now I'm enjoying myself. I appreciate y'all. Doggone it. Like, comment, subscribe. You say, oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. I'm here. So we have fun. The idea is to impute unto you the love of the game. That's what this channel is all about. We're about loving the game. We know the history. It's not about living in the past. It's about living in the present, but understanding the past and pushing forward to the future of a great athletic, great athletic programs, great athletic, for the youth, for the professionals, for the fans. Everybody should be involved, man. Because when people are involved, when sports are at its best, man, things are so much more fun and more peaceful. And well, I guess peaceful is a different word. Peaceful in a different way. But we have fun. Like I said, and that's the thing. We have fun, and we love what we do. So like, subscribe, comment, you know, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. You know, because what I always say is that I just say what I say. What do I know? I just love sports, or at least I think I do. We out.